All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out Mastering Self-Confidence podcast. So I got my sidekick again, Robert Benenati from Real Business.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're in his studio. So yeah, we're kicking it in the ass over here. We're doing different subject matters today, and one of them that he just mentioned that I thought was great was kind of what people are going through being alone at home right now, especially during COVID. And I think both of us are seeing a lot of people, I think, getting a little anxious, getting a little depressed, getting bored, getting annoyed, especially with one another. So I thought that would be something that I'd like to talk about with him because, you know, he's been in business a long time. He also has his own office and real estate company, but he does a lot of things by himself, and he gets a lot of things done. But after having so many people underneath him, being a broker, it probably I think he's been through extremes where he's had a ton of employees and then maybe not so many. So does that sum it up a little bit?
For myself, yes. I've had a little over 100 agents, and at one point I just got tired and I downsized to more of a boutique style office. And right now I have, I don't know, probably 10 agents, and I never see them here. And it's been like that for the last maybe 4 years. Yeah. So it feels good because I feel if they need me, they have me, they can reach me, you know, cell phone, email, whatever. They've been with me a long time. They know what they're doing. I kind of trust them. But if they have any questions, they reach out to me. It gives me a lot more liberty to do what I want to do. And I've been a loner since young. Yeah. And for me, it's comfortable. And I need it.
Me too.
And the conversation we were having before jumping on the mic here was, you know, through COVID, what are people going through? And one of the things is that I've seen through Facebook and other ways that some people are, you know, single, so they live alone.
Sure.
And their getaway was work, networking, or let's say even happy hours, right? And that was their social life. And then they go back home, sleep it off, and the next day is another day. What happens now when they couldn't go out for almost 2 months, right? Yeah. They were pulling their hairs. I know people that were falling into depression. And for me, it was a time that I said, if you don't come out of this learning a new skill, you know, starting up an idea that you've had for a while or a dream, you know, a business or whatever it could be, you know, a craft, then you just, you know, besides just wasting time, it's not about not having time. It's just lack of discipline. And I know for some people it's very hard to be alone. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, too, like you were just saying, a lot of people were always distracted, too, right? Doing a lot of things that were nonsense, too, as well, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are distracted on purpose just to not face their loneliness, right?
Yeah.
Or, well, one thing is being lonely and one thing is being alone, you know?
Absolutely.
I like to be alone. It doesn't make me lonely. I have family.
But you find it tranquil.
Yeah, my wife knows there's times I just need to be in my office, you know, alone and just go fish or, you know, go shoot or whatever it is by myself.
Yep.
Just because I need to be alone from the everyday, you know, the business, the dealing with people.
Distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think I was born as an only child, and most people I've ever met that are only children, it seems like they always either need to be around a lot of people or they're fine being by themselves. I work either way because I was born into a huge family. So I was either with just my mother or with just my father, or I was around literally hundreds of family members. So it was, you know, an extreme. But I love having time alone. It makes me think. That's how I was able to create so many things that I've created, is because I've taken the time by myself to take advantage of being alone. That's worked for me, if that kind of makes sense. Like,
of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's clarity. I did a podcast once on just learning to be still, Like, even if it's just for 10, 15 minutes, and I know everybody jumps into meditation and all that, but a lot of times I do it in a sauna. And just by sitting there and just thinking about, like, what's going on in my life? What the fuck is going, like, what am I doing? What am I doing it all for?
You need to be away from the noise, and that's very stoic.
Yeah.
Stoicism, just be still.
Yep.
And
think
and listen.
Yeah.
Like think, listen. You were like, listen to what? Just listen. Listen to
yourself.
To yourself. What's going on in your head, and then start asking yourself the right questions. Of course, right? Because if you're asking yourself dumb questions, you'll get dumb answers. But stillness is sometimes, it works for me.
Me too, and a lot of people don't want to admit they're full of shit when they say they're too busy to do anything alone or too busy to accomplish anything else but what they're accomplishing. So even if it's, I don't care what, a lot of us have downtime that we're wasting either watching TV, looking at our phone, bullshitting.
Yeah.
If you have 24 hours in a day, let's just hypothetically say working out, you want to work out an hour a day, that's 4% of your day. You can't tell me you can't find an hour out of your day 3 times a week to work out at home, at a gym, go for a walk. But if you talk to most people that are out of shape or they're always, back to, it's ridiculous.
Between that and priorities, if you really have a plan and set it up, you have close to 18 hours a day that you're up, right? Yeah. If you plan your day accordingly, yeah, it's kind of military, right? Bam, 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 back to back. But that's the only way you're really going to accomplish and be productive in a day. I've said this before. I feel I work less in real estate, right, per day than I used to, but I feel much more productive.
Oh yeah.
So I come in with a plan, let's say at 9 a.m. and by 12 or 1 the latest, I'm pretty much done with the real estate. I have the rest of my day to do other things, even though yes, I'm still answering my phone and maybe answering emails, through my phone or at home on my laptop. I don't necessarily need to be in the office to be productive in real estate.
Yeah.
Right? I know a lot of people's in it, and I was guilty of this, being in the office from 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., and I was probably producing the same.
Yeah.
Half of it was just a waste of time. So I crunch it down and say, okay, now I'm in the office 9 to 12, 9 to 1, from 1 to 2, I go home, have lunch if I can, and from 2 to 4 I do something else. At 4 I could go work out. I'm done by 5, and then from 5 to 8 o'clock I could do whatever I want. Spend time with the family, walk the dog, work around the house, whatever I want. So I have the time. Read a book.
Yeah, for sure. Most people tell you they have no time to read.
No time. Yeah,
but they could watch a
3
whole
hours.
season of Netflix in 2 days.
If you want, you'll do what you want to do. I mean, if you want, I know people watch, and I'm guilty of this too. If I want to finish a series on Netflix, I'll be up till 2, 3 in the morning to watch it. So if I need to work on a project for work or my own business, why then I cannot be up to 2, 3 in the morning to complete that business plan or the proposal or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So it's lack of time is an excuse.
I think too, a lot of people that are alone by themselves beat the shit out of themselves emotionally. I see this with a lot of my friends. So if they're not, especially middle age, if they're not as successful as they thought they were going to be, if they maybe got a divorce,
it's scary to maybe for them it's scary to be alone because all these thoughts are coming,
right? For sure,
and they're just circling with these.
It goes into the negative a lot of times too, right? And there is a positive side of it, but they're not looking at that.
Correct.
Right, and I definitely think that, like I was saying, for people that are divorced, but everyone lives a different life. So who knows what, I can't speak for anyone for that matter, but I do realize a lot of times when it comes to when you're getting older, like us, well, you're a lot younger, but middle age, when you're getting over 50, you're starting to see your parents, if they're alive, getting very old, right? You know you're the next phase of that. You've most likely seen a lot of elderly pass away, and getting older and maybe thinking that you're going to end up by yourself, right? Too, if you're by yourself, I think sometimes if you're middle-aged in your 50s, I had no problem with that. But I think with a lot of people, men and women that aren't in relationships, like back to, they don't have to even have been married, or if their kids are, I should say this too, when their kids get older during their 18, 20, whatever they are, where they don't need you as much. Mm-hmm. And even if you're in a relationship, you find yourself alone a lot more because you kind of threw your life into your kid's life, right? Like a lot of us do. Or if you're during COVID, say you got let go, you got furloughed. All these things when you're alone are very nervous, are very nerve-wracking.
That's one of the biggest fears humans have, besides death and health
for sure.
and poverty, and one is loneliness.
Yeah.
And it's real.
Yeah, definitely. What's that, the Irishman?
And I believe, in my opinion, that we as humans are not meant to be alone. Yeah, we're a social animal.
Yeah, have you seen those studies? I don't know if you ever saw those where they took, like, if you go back to the 1920s, 40s, 60s, or whatever, maybe even in the 80s, but people in New York where, you grew up like yourself, and I grew up in Chicago on the outskirts, where you had these environments of a ton of people, and everybody looked out for each other, everybody cooked, everybody did everything kind of together. Mm. And then when people became wealthier, they left those environments to kind of get away from those people. And then the wealthier you got, the more secluded you got. So if you look at like a lot of wealthy areas, it's on a lot of acreage. No one's near them. And the studies came out where those people usually end up extremely depressed, by themselves, lost a lot of relationships. And I will say one thing about maybe people from Chicago, New York, or San Fran, or wherever, LA. I used to say I can't deal with that mess, us living in Florida. But I could see, you hear about people that are wealthy that end up moving back into those environments because you miss the camaraderie, right? You miss that. Just going to a coffee shop or being able to walk to everything. I think Lenny Kravitz talked about that when his mother and father, I think, moved from New York to L.A. and Beverly Hills. He loved his life in New York. Then all of a sudden he's stuck in a neighborhood and he doesn't know anybody. No. He's playing on a bicycle by himself, right? He wanted to go back to the neighborhood, right, to be with people that he knew
so
that
I think
he
the
loved.
Smart ones are you become a millionaire and don't show it and just stay in your neighborhood.
Yeah, because we were made to kind of live in packs, right? I mean, if you think about it. So
what would you tell someone to do, or what would you suggest if they are alone right now?
I'll tell you, just start with the car, shut the radio off. And I know that sounds crazy. I've traveled so much throughout my life. I got sick of the car music because I collected money my whole life, and then I'm traveling, and then I'm in rental cars, right? And either I was on an airplane, so I'd write, or you're going to watch a movie, or if you're in a car, you're going to listen to the radio or a podcast or whatever. But a lot of us just drive for, say, on the average, a half an hour a day, an hour a day, whatever around. Just shut the radio off and think. And learn, I think, just with that being calm, and then from there kind of move on. There's a lot of different spots that I like to go to eventually be alone and be calm. If you're looking for some calmness, I think, I'd start there. And I'm not kidding, because a lot of people I see, they jump in a car, they're blasting music. I call it audio assault.
But not the ones that are looking for calmness, the one that are alone right now.
Oh, you mean like on that level?
Yeah, that level alone. What would you suggest for them? I in my opinion, find a new skill, learn a new language, try something new.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to try something, I know it's a cliche though. A lot of people are like, just start, go do it. But that's the only way you're going to do it. Don't think big. If you always wanted to write a book, you don't have to think about writing 200 pages. How about start with 5 sentences? I always say a little bit at a time. That's all you got to do if you want to do something. If you're interested in something, watch a YouTube video on it. If you want to try a different type of exercise, We discussed this earlier. Just go check it out. You want to try Pilates? I'm not telling you have to run to a Pilates boutique and start doing it. Just go there and learn about it. You want to, do whatever you want to do. Just put yourself in that environment. You may not even like it. I think a lot of people don't even realize that. So, but, we all have different personalities. Some people go to bed at night, they have to play the TV. Some people go to bed, they have to hear radio. Some people go to bed, they don't want to hear anything. So we all have our own frequencies, I guess. So, all right, I'm going to wrap it up there. Robert, you want to tell them what you're doing?
What am I doing? A little bit of real estate, a little bit about podcast, Real Business Podcast. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and same for the real estate, 365 Realty.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm on richcelenza.com. You probably know who the hell I am if you're listening to my podcast. So, also on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Let's not get nuts here. I'm going to wrap it up there. And if you're alone, man, hit me up. I'll send you some crazy videos. Yeah, if you're really alone, check out our YouTube page. We're all over the joint. So, all right, I'm going to wrap it up there. Take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.